One of the first lesson videos I did here on YouTube was on an exercise I created to improve my phrasing called the 4-phrase exercise. Now, after writing a book about using motivic development for improvisation, I thought it might be interesting to take a new look at this exercise, but use some motivic development techniques in the examples. Just to recap, the goal of this exercise is to gain better control over the intensity and note direction of your phrases while you're improvising. This is done by using a starting phrase and then playing 4 possible phrases that can follow that phrase. The first phrase will be higher notes, lower intensity. The second will be higher notes, higher intensity. The third one will be lower notes, lower intensity. And the fourth one will be lower notes, higher intensity. It's also important that all these 4 phrases sound like a good continuation of the first phrase. By forcing yourself to play phrases that both sound like a continuation of the first one and matching these 4 qualities, you'll gain better control over the direction and intensity of your playing. This exercise can be done both as a composition exercise and as a pure improvisation exercise. Try both, but I recommend trying the composition way first, because you have better time to think about what you're playing. Then, after you get used to it, this will naturally show up in your playing while you're improvising. Now let's take a look at the starting phrase I'm using in these examples. The starting phrase consists of a motive and then a development of that motive. The motive is this. It's sliding into a note, repeating that note, and then going down a step in the scale, and then skipping a step in the scale. The scale I'm using here, by the way, is the F major scale. To create a longer, more complete phrase, I also play a variation on that motive using motivic development techniques. The first technique I use is a double chromatic approach from below, going into the starting note of the motive. A double chromatic from below just means playing the 2 closest notes below the starting note. Then I use what I call creative repetition in my book. This is using repetition in a creative way. If we split this motive in 2, this is the first half, this is the second half. I repeat the second half. If I also add the approach notes, I will get this. And with the first motive, we have this. And then I just add this to complete the phrase. Now for the first of these 4 phrases, higher notes, lower intensity, I move the same motive higher in the scale, what we call sequencing. And I'm also not skipping a note in the scale this time to create some more variation. I preface this by a double diatonic from below. I'm not using any chromatic notes here, because that would increase the intensity. Also, to lower the intensity, I play slower, using 8-note triplets instead of 16th notes. I'm also using mainly chord tones over the D-7 chord, because these help lower the tension. For the second of the 4 phrases, higher notes, higher intensity, I start with lots of chromatic approach notes, approaching this target note. First, a double chromatic approach from above, and then a double chromatic approach from below. Then I'm just adding a bend and a little step down and up again. Then I'm playing the same variation on the motive I did the last time, but here I'm playing it with 16th notes. And I'm also adding a chromatic note below and going back again. And then I'm going up here. Also notice that I'm using this both there and here to create some more continuation. Now for the third of the 4 phrases, lower notes, lower intensity, I'm starting with a descending line, and then I'm using the motive again. Lower notes, lower intensity is generally an easier phrase to play, because going down in the note height will also lower the intensity. Because of that, the 4th phrase, lower notes, higher intensity, is a bit harder, because going down lowers the intensity. So here I'm using a couple of big leaps and some chromatic patterns to increase the intensity. And I'm playing the motive again, but then I'm playing it again a bit lower, and I'm adding a 2-step bend to create some more intensity here. If you want to know more about using motivic development techniques in improvisation, check out the link to my book in the description below.